Welcome to CapStone Live. We have an incredible panel for you today. As some of y'all know, maybe you don't, in 2023, the city of Lansing declared June 26th Lansing Hip Hop Day. And we were like, all right, word. What that means for us is that the work we do as a culture and community is recognized as being as brilliant as it is. So we appreciate that. Thank you to the city. But the folks here in the community have been celebrating hip hop for a very long time and putting it on for the community and the region, the state, the country, the world at large, from our little corner of the planet, Lansing, Michigan, 517. And right here we have an incredible panel who's going to speak on it tonight. Just real quick, I'm a transplant from Seattle, and I'm honored to be able to run All the Above Hip Hop Academy with a great board of directors and some incredible artists here in Lansing. So it's really an honor as an institution here in the capital city to give back to a community that's given so much to all of us, to me personally, to everybody who's a part of AOTA in the family. And so this CapStone Live conversation is designed to give people their flowers, right? I don't know the whole history of Lansing hip hop, and I don't know if there's any one person who does. But because history is not linear, it's kind of zigzag all over the place, and from whoever's vantage point, you can get different pieces of truth. You know, if you go back to the beginning of hip hop, you go to the Bronx, you can't talk to one person who has like the whole entire history of everybody who was there, because there was some DJ who was somebody's uncle who must have influenced somebody who ended up becoming Herc or ended up becoming Bam or Flash or whomever, right? So stories are tricky that way. And what we want to do with this platform is to bring people to it who can speak on a variety of different vantage points. And I kid you not when I say this panel right here covers a good portion into the 90s, maybe even the 80s of hip hop. I'm not sure where everybody stands on it, but we got a lot of years here at the table to provide some of that context. So without further ado, one last piece. As I said, this is designed to give people their flowers. So the chats are open, the threads are open. If you are listening from wherever you're at, feel free to drop those names. If you hear something that you want to build on top of that story, put it in the thread, put it in the chat. But this is not a place where we're trying to take from anyone. I just want to make that clear. This is about giving people their flowers and their just due. And I think we have a great panel that can do that. You know what I'm saying? If you are missed, it is not because of anything other than history is deep and complicated. All right. But just know we are doing the best we can to make sure we put it on and show love and shed light on the 517. All right. So without further ado, welcome to CapStone Live, and I'm going to introduce you to your incredible facilitator and host, the one, the only, the people's champ, Mr. Joe Walker.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Ozay. Panel, welcome. Everybody viewing, welcome. We're going to start here with our first panelist.
What's going down?
Esteemed. This person has been rooted in this community, especially its music, for a long time, becoming one of the top hip-hop publishers in the nation. Please welcome panelist KC.
Thank you.
We gotta clap.
Let's go.
Make it clap to this.
Do I need to introduce myself or just kind of tell the people a little bit about what I'm doing or what?
KC, why don't you go ahead and tell people a little about yourself?
All right, I'm Casey. I'm the publisher and owner of Hood Illustrated magazine, Hood Illustrated Global Media, the #1 independent hip hop magazine based out the Midwest.
#1.
And I started Hood Illustrated off the strength of Lansing hip hop, like going way back to, I don't go back to the 80s when I started. It's more like the mid 2000s when Max Bar was popping and just coming up off a crime side and in like 97 and going beyond. I was able to get my feet wet and introduce them to Columbus, Ohio when I went down to school down there, but mainly hip-hop publication based out of Lansing. Saw a lot of great talent, and we just want to give them some shine. And we didn't have an outlet. We didn't have any media, being from the Midwest. So it was my way to kind of fill a void and be a trailblazer in the entertainment and media space from Lansing, Michigan, representing the whole world.
And I must say you've done an exceptional job doing it.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. And next, from MC to radio host.
Greetings.
To one of the nicest beards in town.
Let's go. How y'all doing?
Please welcome Ward Skillz.
Ward Skillz. Yeah, born and raised Lansing, Michigan. Got a telecommunications background, radio, TV, film. Man, like where should I start? I wear
The list is long.
I wear a bunch of hats. You know what I'm saying? You say what?
As an MC, I don't mind.
Yeah. And I'm an MC. Well, you know, I do a little bit of everything. Man, I say our era, we go back from late 90s. I think, we was outside late 90s to a good bulk of the 2000s. You know, early 2000s, 2010s was like kind of the timeline from when we were outside and evolving. I started off MCing, rapping, and then I went from rapping eventually to transitioning over to throwing events and giving other people opportunities to shine and come up around the area. And then I eventually transitioned over to radio, and I ran a radio show here in Lansing. I did some work over at Power locally, and then I ran a show on college radio, 89.7. I did a midnight hip hop show on Saturday nights for about 6 years. So
Tell them the name.
Mitten Mayhem Radio. Yeah, I mean we got a minute, so we're gonna chop it up about all of that type of
Absolutely.
stuff. But just real quick though, I got a background of a few different spectrums that I was able to help other people get opportunities as well. So what's up, y'all?
And part of that background is being a voice. So we thank you.
Yes, sir.
Our next panelist, which I'm meeting for the first time today, but I've heard a lot about this week, while we're talking about voices, trained jazz singer, MC. Please welcome YelloKake.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I do have to correct a little bit. I'm not an MC. I wish I was, but I hang around with all MCs. And that's kind of what it is. I'm from the area, from East Lansing, and went to Michigan State. And while I was in school there for jazz studies, I ended up meeting up a bunch of folks who became lifelong friends, and we became a hip-hop collective, even as a singer. But in a lot of traditions like that of Mary J. Blige, now it's so expansive, all these singers that are on harder beats, on beats that feel like hip-hop, hip-hop soul, et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of what I started doing when I came out with my original music, and was very supported in that community and grew up in the Lansing hip hop scene here. So I'm so glad to be able to be here and represent a little bit.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
And MC, Master of Ceremony, so you do it too. So it counts.
That's it.
And our final panelist, one of the most respected business owners here in town, and also a DJ with a legendary career. Please welcome DJ Ruckus.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. I think I'm probably the oldest one here, but I didn't grow up here. I came to Lansing at MSU in '92, but I was kind of into hip hop from when I was like 10 years old, so like kind of from the beginning. I grew up in a small town outside of Flint called Otisville. But hip hop was my vantage point to like engaging the world outside of the real limited culture where I was raised. And I've got to do so many amazing things through this culture. It means a lot to be on this panel with y'all. And thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Now I have some questions. And before I start with my first question, I kind of want to veer off a little bit, if that's okay. Just listening to you all introduce yourselves and knowing that the history that you have here and the history that you've made here and some of the things that have happened over the last several years. So what I would like to know is, what is your emotional connection to the hip hop scene here? KC, we'll start with you.
Emotional is very emotional when it comes to the scene here because it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into creating a brand and pushing for the artists around here. We have we had a lot of talented artists that aren't here to this day that it kind of created a void kind of for me creative-wise when it came to kind of moving because, you know, when you grow up and you got brothers and you got sisters and you got people that that you grow and you make goals and you want to make it to the top with, when they're not here, it's kind of hard to kind of get back on that train. So over the last few years, we lost some pretty important people in the community that, for me personally, it just kind of put a step back to me and just kind of made me realize, like, okay, I can, you know, maybe I need to jump back in the game and do a little bit more because I was more motivated back then versus now, which a lot of emotion goes into that, just thinking about, you know, the things that could have been if, you know, certain people were around and, you know, certain movements were still available because it got to a point where in the city we were right at the cusp of, in my opinion, of actually breaking in the door of the industry. Mm-hmm. Like, and this was around the 2012, 2013 year. We had productions teams that had like major followings, artists traveling all over, promoters, a lot of artists coming here to make a name. So we became like that city. It wasn't Detroit, it wasn't Grand Rapids, but when a new artist or a new brand came, you know, they kind of made their foot here in Lansing or Jackson. We can also call 517 Lansing too. So I mean Jackson too, because it's kind of tied in with the Rocket and everything that was going on down there. So emotionally, you know, it basically that's it.
Ward, same question.
Yeah, as far as how my emotions are tied to the Lansing hip hop scene, the roots go pretty deep, you know. Going from, because I can really say, like, I started actively writing raps in maybe first grade. I used to get permission from my parents to call one of my buddies on the phone and go in the other room and spit raps. I'm talking about at a very young age. So I always had a deep passion for music and not just music, but just the hip hop culture, period. Like I love you know, the dance. I love the DJing. I love, you know, the graffiti. I love all of that. So I just happen to be good at rapping, you know. So I tend to pick up, you know, the path of writing and creating music. So that's kind of the path that I took for a long time. But emotionally tied to this, it's like you know, over time, from the work that we put in, we kind of phase out of some of these things, you know. So just because they might not see me in the same spaces anymore doesn't mean I don't have love for our scene right now. you know, you just might not. You're not gonna catch me jumping and bouncing when you know what I mean with a good portion of the younger crowd anymore. However, I still support. I still got love, and you know we had our phase, our wave of that. People come and go here in the Lansing hip hop scene. Not just Lansing, but you know that's just how it goes everywhere. But my emotional ties go pretty deep here in Lansing. Yeah.
Thank you. YelloKake.
My emotions, not to repeat the question a bunch of times, but it's interesting because in one way, even though I know it's still happening and still going, it's very nostalgic for me. Because like I said, I grew up in the scene a little in multiple scenes. But it really grew me, not just as somebody who was pursuing this art, but as a person.
Mm-hmm.
The people I met, the opportunities I was provided, just to express myself, to contribute to, you know, other people's artistry, other people's vision, the things I saw that I had no idea I would see for $5
No, for real.
every month at Respiration, you know.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's been a blessing. And then like I said, the lifelong friends I've met who are like my family, for real, like my brothers and sisters. And to see what these avenues have provided for so many. And even folks who were passing through, who were going to school here, and then went back home or wherever they went, the imprint that it left on them, I know plenty of those folks, musicians and otherwise. And I was gone. I moved to DC for about 8 or 9 years. I came back 3 years ago and was so like proud to see young folks doing it here, because there was a minute where it was, you know, folks have always been making hip hop here for the time that I've been here, but it was hard to find venues, you know, and whatnot, and people are making a way like they always do. And, you know, of course, with the example of the gentleman at the end, making something happen for folks here, not having to go elsewhere, is so important. And so now I found myself, my current relationship is to bolster, to support, you know, where I can. And that's very fulfilling to me.
Good answer. Ruckus.
So a couple things. So we lost Crazy Kaz over the last year. And he was one of the first. So when I started DJing, it was mainly around East Lansing and at MSU. And Kaz was one of the first people to kind of bring me in from Lansing and like be just generous with time and love. And
Rest in peace, Kaz.
it just it's a huge loss, and it just, when I think about what I'm emotional about in the context of this conversation in Lansing, like he was a good mentor for me. I still have like crates of records that I bought from him over the years with his tag on them, and then the other part is, I think for me, is the power of music as a social force to change things for the better. And like the time we're living in right now is so messed up, and that there needs to be vision coming from the people, and music helps like focus that and gives people an outlet to sometimes talking don't do it. But with music, like, you can really communicate to a lot of people in a way that has more power and feeling, and can move people to make big changes in their lives, like, I mean, all of us here, but also people to take the risks that are necessary to change the world, to make it the better place that we want it to be. And for me, like, that's what I spend my energy musically, I think, doing now, both kind of trying to survive the horrors of the world and just working class life, but also, like, to help motivate people to move as a society to fight oppression and create something better. And this, I can't overstate, like, doing this for 30 years, the amount of people I've met, and just the warmth and kindness and welcoming and community that's come out of that. It's overwhelming.
If I can, I would just want to take this moment to say in front of everybody, thank you to you, because when we came out of COVID, that first show was the Capital City Kickoff, the ALTA Creative on that stage at the Avenue. And for you to let all those people in, pack that house, people were still scared and worried, but we had a great time. So thank you. Now, the ice is broken. Let's get into some of these here. Of course, your own names. We're going to start with YelloKake. Who introduced you to hip hop in this area? Who introduced you to this scene here in Lansing?
To this scene, I introduced myself, which is funny.
Okay.
So, like I said, I was a jazz student, and, you know, depending on who you are, but also sometimes just the nature of it, it could be real intense. And I'm not saying it is like the movie Whiplash, but there are those folks who are like, nonstop, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But let me run this back. So the way I even like found jazz was just looking for stuff, and that's always been me. I love music, I love art, so I'm always combing for stuff. And it was just like a Billie Holiday compilation CD in the back of my parents' collection with a bunch of dust on it. Nobody had been listening to it, but here I go with my Discman. And found that in high school and just like latched onto it, like for dear life. And then also making connections to like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill for me was life-changing. Because I was this girl in an Appalachian white college town before I even moved here, you know. It was around that transition. I had locks, you know, at the time in the Midwest. That for a young girl, that was very foreign. You know what I mean? So I had something to latch on to, but also, of course, she's an incredible musician. But Billie, I found connection, and to his point, you know, a music that changes. That affects social movements, that affects, that people can latch on to. In that regard, I saw that through line as well. And so that really affected me. So I ended up going to school here for jazz studies, but also knowing that what I was writing for myself was not exactly that. I was doing other things because I was influenced by a lot of other things. And I heard about respiration. Actually, I heard about it from a soror, but she wasn't really going. She was kind of here and there. She wasn't my soror yet.
Respiration comes up a lot.
Yeah. And I tried to get friends to go with me who were, you know, other musicians, because I'm like, this is dope, let's go. Nobody would go, so I went by myself, you know, at least those first 2-3 times. And I was like, this is the best thing that Lansing has ever had. I loved it so much. And, you know, again, like I said, $5, like the acts I saw for $5, like once a month, I was like, oh, you can do this? Right. That's wild. Here, that's crazy. Yeah. And before I knew it, I had, open mic, and I was also meeting all the folks that I ended up in that collective with at that place. So that's how I was introduced to hip hop in Lansing, to the scene, I'll say, in Lansing.
Okay, we'll throw it to you next, Ward. Same question.
I was introduced to the scene, I would say, I would probably say maybe about 7th grade. 7th grade, I would say. There was a talent show at my middle school that I got in, and one of the guys who was putting on who facilitated the talent show was a producer. Around that time, he had a group on Power on the local state on 96.5, and the group was called the Midwest Ballers. So if you're familiar with the Midwest Ballers, Dan Juris is his name. His name is Dan. Dan Juris, salute to Dan. He was the first person to put me on a stage in front of people for me to show them what I got. You know what I mean? So that was the first time I was placed on a stage where people were watching to see what I was gonna do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that opportunity, that was the first time I was able to get real confidence in myself after that performance. So after that, it was over with, really. He introduced me to recording in the actual studio. So my first time actually recording a record was, say, 8th grade, to when I actually recorded and had my music on something. So I would say Dan Juris introduced me to the scene. Sicko. Anybody from Southside Lansing knows Sicko was one of the main producers around there. Lakai was, rest in peace, Lakai. These are some of the first guys that I was, outside with. And then the community, the hip hop scene was so heavy back then. It was like, I can name 10 to 15 buddies that I can say were in my introduction.
Name them.
Name them?
Name them.
Man.
The names are important. The names are important.
Sicko, Lakai, Don Brown, Soup from Pone Unknown Records. Daddy Dad was one of the first people that I met that a prominent name. You want to help out? I mean, if we get to dropping names, we'll be all day. Now I'm thinking of so many all at once. My brain is getting jumbled. But those couple names though, Sicko, Dan Juris, Kaz, and forgive me if I'm missing anybody. But those are some of the first names that I connected with, got in the studio with, and actually recorded, to build my resume as an MC in the community.
Okay. I'm going to throw it to you, Ruckus. But I want you to answer this question in two parts. One, okay, who introduced you to the scene here? And also, being a transplant, what did you bring here?
I got to think on the second part for a second. I'm not sure what I brought. I think I got a lot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I brought to things, but
Oh, Ruckus, you brought a lot, man.
Yeah.
I don't. And
I can tell you.
if we got to give you if I got to give you your flowers right now before we get into that, I want to do that now. You've done a lot for us, man. Like just your presence, just you being there. Look, everybody didn't have a personal DJ. You were a lot of people's personal DJ, and you didn't even know it. We pull up the showcases with our little show CD or our little flash or whatever we had, and Ruckus, you were our personal DJ, man. Salute, or one of them. So you did a lot for all of us around here. Like, I'm not sure how much I believe your story if you don't mention DJ Ruckus. For real, you weren't in those spaces if his name was not mentioned. And let's not go back to the vibe with Benny Ben, RS3. And salute to those guys who did the Cultural Vibe before they even came, because it was Jason Staten and it was a couple other guys. It was a whole wave of people from the Cultural Vibe before we even came. So salute to them as well. So I come from Cultural Vibe. I was 15 rapping on the Vibe, which was crazy. I'm sorry. I ain't even digress.
No, yeah.
We'll get back to me, but salute to Ruckus though, for real. Like,
I'm just thinking about my goofy ass when I started DJing and thinking about what I brought to things. I don't know what I brought. Maybe
you brought a lot,
but
we need it
in terms of my introduction to hip
you kept
hop
the vibes going for sure.
Thank you.
Without the DJ, we don't have a party. We don't have an event. We don't have a show without that. So you need to start tooting your own horn when it comes to that. Like, for real.
MC nature is just pouring out of you right now.
Yeah, Ruckus over here being humble. No, we're not doing that right now. You gotta understand, like, you were and still are, like, very important to the scene that we came from, for sure.
That means a lot to hear that.
No doubt.
That's
always remember that.
very very kind of you.
For sure.
I do want to like say a couple. So there were a couple people up front when I started DJing that were kind of like that brought me into things, and I there was this Asian dude, June, who was one of the first hip hop DJs at MSU, and I met him through a friend at a restaurant, and Judy at Blue Note, and she connected me with him. I met a bunch of b-boys through that stuff too, and these were all things I wanted to be connected with since I was real young. But I didn't get a credit card till I was 18, and that's when I bought the turntables at the pawn shop. As soon as I could fill it out, that's how that happened. But June was one of the first people that put me on. Kaz is another one. The first like residency I had. So I came from like a lot of punk culture stuff too, where you're just used to, you're just used to not having anything going on. You just make it go on, like everything. And I think that's a big part of like who's here in the room. Like, if you wait for things to happen in Lansing, you're going to be waiting a long time. But it's also like it's a wide open space in many ways to like you can make things happen here. And so like right away I started DJing, like a lot of people, like DJing probably out before I should be DJing out, like, but just like want to make it happen, and we're gonna do it. And it was at Small Planet. Mm-hmm. I did a party at the Silver Dollar with this DJ Dumbo, who was like was a radio DJ, dance music guy, but we had like a hip hop room, and that was the first time I met Kaz, and I had, he was legendary already, and I'm pretty young then, 22. I think we're about the same age. I know he was DJing since he was like 13. But he came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm Kaz," and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is crazy Kaz," and he's like, "Can I get on and play some records?" And it was all records, and he didn't have records. He just like wanted to come on my set and like kind of like just play with my records. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, for sure." And then he just killed it, doing doubles, doing tricks, just like with just my stuff, like not even his, as a DJ, it's kind of like if you have home court, like you're comfortable, you can do a lot more. But he didn't need home court; he could come in anywhere, rock it with like. This is 30 years ago too. So, and he talked about how there weren't a lot of places to play because of all the clubs. Basically, not like I think people now think about hip hop being this pervasive thing that's everywhere, but. There was a lot of resistance to hip hop being in the clubs, and there still is to some degree. But it's like there was a much bigger fight. And sorry, this long story is going to wrap up. The small planet thing was like we kind of broke hip hop into that space, but then that allowed him to come into that space, and then he killed it. Like it was just an amazing thing. So I think that's how I got to know him, and he's probably the one that I credit the most with introducing me to the scene here.
KC, before you answer this question,
yes, sir.
You got to go back to the emotion of it, because just on a personal note, the fact that you document so much of what happens, and especially the people having an emotional connection to hip hop.
Right.
And I can say personally, like when some of these artists pass on, you've come to me like, can you write something about this person or this person?
Mm-hmm.
And I can say honestly, like some of those, you know, it was hard to write because you can't see with the tears in the eyes. But for you to have that platform to share those emotions, I think is brilliant.
Thank you.
So, same question. And also, how does it, you know, who introduced you to the scene?
Okay.
And then fast forward, what's it been like to document it all?
Okay. Well, going back to the beginning of just the brand, before the magazine came out, I went off to school in Columbus, Ohio, and I came back around 2000, and I went to LCC. And around that time, I met a friend who I felt like we was going to be the next Puffy and Biggie, you know, like Suge Knight and Tupac. I felt like Phil. I felt like we was the next thing. And I got introduced, we went ahead and put a mixtape out. I got introduced to the music scene. I was going to school at LCC right across the street from here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my business administration classmates, I asked him, he was black, and he looked like he probably did some music around. I'm like, you know anybody that produced? He was like, yeah, my homeboy Lacoste. So he gave me his number. We did a 4-track. We bought 4 beats and 8 blocks of studio time right down the street at Mass Music Studio. So we went in and did that. And that was my introduction to the scene. I was able to go down there, and I was able to see what the underground Lansing hip-hop was, because they had, who was over there? Sawed Off was over there. Mo and them was over there. It was a lot of people in one building that was cooking up. But prior to that, let me go back before that. Before that, I was really introduced to the music growing up because my had an older brother, and I hung out with him. He was about 4 years older than me, and he was cool with Mad Moan. So Mad Moan was like the first person I knew in the area, them and Crime, because they was in my neighborhood over there off of Barnes and MLK over there.
And what year was this?
This was like 97, 96. This was before I came back, before I went to school. So I came up, listened to the music. So any music I had here, I was taking it down to Columbus, like, y'all got to hear this. So I was taking Crime down there. I took Mad Moan's red tape, the Maddening. Salute to Mad Moan. That's one of the classic 517 records. So that was my introduction. We were able to, when we started the label, we were able to go to Daddy Dad's studio. So Daddy Dad was like one of the, he's probably one of the GOATs. He probably taught everybody else about the producing from here. So got introduced into that circle and got to see what exactly the music was. I got introduced to Big Perm around that time too. So it was a lot of, I'm just dropping names around that time, but I was introduced to that scene, and as the music scene for me as an independent record label owner and doing all that, it wasn't kicking off as fast as I wanted to, and my artists ended up going down to Atlanta. So I was stuck here with a backpack full of ideas and a marketing degree, and I just decided to go ahead and create a magazine or a platform for this area because nobody else was coming here. So I was taking everything here and going everywhere else. So that's basically how it started. And from that point, I was just tapped into the city. Anybody that was doing anything, I was pulling up with the camera. I was interviewing them. I was promoting Respiration. That was the first spot that I took the magazine. It was called MPV, Midwest Point of View, before Hood Illustrated. I had got the trademark, and then I went ahead and tested it with MPV, a 4-page booklet, and, you know, it just kind of covered what was going on in the city. So after doing that, I just basically been tapped in for you know, since 2006, so a good almost 20 years just documenting hip hop history, all the common grounds, all the any artists that had came here, like I say, like the John Carners, Doughboys Cash Out, the outsiders that came here and used Lansing and Jackson as stepping stones. We were able to go ahead and kind of put them out to the world. Kendrick Lamar, one of my best interviews, he came to MSU. I was at 2010.
Tell me,
I met him.
who else was there? Who came through Max? I don't mean to digress, but I want to get this stuff out of the way, like while it's in our head.
He was at MSU, and I was able to meet him. He was on tour with Wale. Drake had came through MSU. So any of those events.
What year was this?
This was like 2010, 2011, like right before they blew up.
Yep.
So being able to be a platform here and like years later still have like relationships with TDE and all the labels that are still relevant now, I don't brag much about it, but I hold it dear to my heart that like, okay, we definitely are a place here in Lansing that a lot of people know about. They don't just call us, oh, you from Detroit? No, we from Lansing. You know, that's what I try to represent. Anytime I'm out, anytime I'm at A3C, Southbound, you've been down to A3C with me before and we represent. So what
I
was
see
the second
people
part
flock
of
to
it?
you like Santa Claus. You had
What
the
was the
bag.
second part, bro?
What's it been like documenting it all?
Oh, it's been amazing. I never thought that, starting a record label and selling, 2,000 or 3,000 CDs out the trunk and treating it like it's a masterpiece because that's my idol. Like I literally took his blueprint and turned it into magazine publishing, but being able to document that and meet all these people and still have solid relationships and still be relevant in today's scene and it's amazing. I love it.
Okay. We'll go back to YelloKake. When and where were the spaces and places that played the biggest part in your hip hop origin story?
Ooh. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but Respiration, Max Bar, like that just was it, you know what I mean? And then there were other venues, Small Planet, of course, but it wasn't, honestly, really wasn't a lot of places with stages, because what I remember is venues being very resistant at the time.
Can you give them what year? Around what time was it?
Okay, so I did write a couple.
Because that says a lot.
It does.
As far as what was going on at
Right.
that time.
Absolutely.
So
this is a big platform that she's talking about right now that they were a part of. They had a lot of support.
I started going there. I started going to Respiration, I want to say like 2006, 2007. And I want to say it maybe had been going maybe a year, maybe not even a whole year at that point.
I think it was 06.
Yeah.
Mark, salute to Mark and EJ.
For sure.
That's when I first started hitting the streets here.
Who I originally met in high school, because I went to high school with them.
Lansing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew Ride Out, who was one of their homies, and that was like a person I knew who like rapped. Okay. For real in high school, and I was like, oh, that was really my first, like, you could do that. But the thing about that space in particular was it was just very welcoming to everyone. I was thinking about like Waymakers, like in this scene and in this genre here, and pretty much everybody here is one of those and back there, you know what I mean? And that spirit is so pervasive, and that's what I first picked up on when I was there, because they were giving you, it was a hip hop thing, but they were also like bringing you like deaf poetry, They were also bringing you like, I mean, it was singers too, but like, I remember they were just showcasing folks from here, but also from all around the state, from all around the Midwest. And it was kind of like a little hub at that time. You know what I mean? Sorry, you might have to repeat your question because now I'm like nostalgia land.
How did it all play a part in your origin story?
So how it all played a part in my origin story. So I had been going for a couple months, and I was like, dang, I really want to do the open mic, but I don't know, because not usually a lot of singers here. Like, I should do it, right? And so I reintroduced myself to Clock and EJ. And I was like, yeah, I sing, like, can I do open mic? They were like, oh, yeah, you gonna sing something right now? I was like, okay. And so I sang something for them. They were like, oh yeah, you can do open mic. I was like, okay.
Are you ready tonight? Yeah.
Right. And I did something. I don't even remember what I did. I was terrified, of course. But then I started coming back with stuff I had written. And that was really special to me. Like, I could write my own things. You know, I could put it in my own voice. Mm-hmm. It could have my sound, whatever the hell that was, this mixture of all these things. And there was a place for it there. And that, like, literally is my origin story. And within that, at that same time, I was meeting James Garden, who was filthy at the time. Joshua Smith, who was Jay Young the General at the time. Notice I'm like the only one that still has like a name that's not you know, eventually.
Othello.
Yeah, Othello. Listen, Othello, Ozay, who's Othello at the time. Chris Orick, who was Red Pill at the time. Wayne Weigel, who was the amateur at the time. All these folks, and there were so many more. We all kind of bonded there, and we became the Black Pack, which was a hip hop collective. And it was rappers, it was singers, it was producers, it was writers, it was a little bit of everything. And then just folks who were in the circle who wanted to support and show love, who were also, you know, as big of fans of hip hop as we were, and really believed in us, and whatever they were doing, we support them. So, I mean, really starting up, I want to say it was maybe about 8 or 9 of us to start. And maybe 4 or 5 of us were like front-facing artists. And Black Pack has brought me all kinds of, you know, we went all around the state, all around, I mean, we went down to South by Southwest, not officially, but official enough, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, booking shows and everything. You know, folks from this collective have gone on to tour the world, to tour the country, to become editors of major hip hop publications, you know what I'm saying? William Ketchum III, you know, to become, start their own platforms, film reviewers, to produce for a bunch of names, between Corioto, Aaron Armstrong, you know, Hero Beats. Hero was adjacent to us for a long time. I feel bad that I'm not going to say everybody's name because I'm like, there are so many of us. Shell, who's an incredible singer, but also has her own production company, and she's like booking all the talent for all the summer shows in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just gave and gave and gave. You know, Common Ground, opening for all kinds of folks. Like, it's like baffling actually when I really think about it. And folks who came to rock with us have gone on to do all kinds of things. My homegirl, India Owens, is the bass player on Stephen Colbert. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. It just goes on and on and on. Jenna Camille, who was a piano player and support, she's now a cold producer, singer, piano player, drummer, singer, rapper. She does everything. And she does it really well. You know what I mean? And these are folks that we touch, and I'm so proud of that. But yes, I went beyond the origin story. I'm sorry. I just be running my mouth.
so much to unpack, man.
It is. It's a lot.
So while we're talking about unpacking,
Yeah.
all of you have mentioned in one way or another how there was so much resistance to hip hop in the spaces that were needed for artists to have a chance to be seen and heard. So how did you overcome it?
Well,
Especially the three of you, Ruckus, who have literally created stages for people to perform. Or
to be all the way honest, I mean, like Ruckus said, you said he came. You said you came in what, 92? You said, okay. So with him coming in 92, and him being introduced to an opportunity at the Small Planet, eventually we made our way out to the Small Planet, but it wasn't in the 90s.
Wow.
We ended up doing events at Small Planet. What year was that when we did that battle? We did a rap battle at Small Planet one time. And I couldn't believe they let us do it. I couldn't believe it. But we had a rap battle at Small Planet.
Special guest judges from Detroit, Mo Dirty.
Yeah. Mo Dirty, Marv One, Quest McCody, my guys, and Ty Ferris, 40 Flame. He came. They were the judges for that rap battle event. But I'm digressing again. It's a lot to unpack. But anyway, we did that battle. That was like, I say around 2009. I want to say it was like 2009 when we did this battle. And by that time, Ruckus, Kaz, whoever those guys were out there rocking, introducing East Lansing to hip hop, I would say probably paved the way for us.
Right.
By the time we came around with, needing opportunities, I guess those barriers were kind of knocked down. So,
okay.
But coming from my era, from the late 90s, 2000s, 2010s, were pretty much my 30-year. That was my 30-year grind right there. So, that in that space right there,
Yeah.
I would probably have to say it was y'all guys for real.
Yeah.
Cause y'all were the ones out there. Goldfingers. Goldfingers, Benny Ben. I mean, yeah, in order for us to get out there in that East Lansing scene, they were the guys playing the music, playing the records.
Benny Ben was the first DJ I met when I moved here.
So, there we go. He was the first person to give me a shot on the radio. I'll share that story too in a second if you go ahead and get
I walked in cold of the cuts and was like,
yeah.
Who's spinning music out here? And she pointed at Benny Ben. He was over going through some records. He looked up.
Yeah. Benny, he was a spontaneous guy. Benny was a spontaneous guy.
Can I tell a story about?
Go for it.
So this period, so Benny Ben was one of the best hosts on Cultural Vibe. There was a lot of good ones over the years, but he was
Sure.
RS3. That was when their first period where they were their banter was so good.
Yep.
But just I
And
had a
where was
record store
Cultural
at that
Vibe
time.
broadcast?
Culture Vibe was on 88.9.
Oh, 88.9. Okay.
Saturday nights. Yeah.
Benny Ben was in the record store that we had at the time called Vinyl Attic. I had been going up there. I don't know if y'all remember Lackadaisical. He eventually was named Tarak. He did some stuff like I think adjacent to Slum Village era stuff back in Detroit after he left here. But he wasn't the host. It was this other guy that was the host. He was not one of the best hosts, but Lackadaisical was really good, and he brought me up there, and that was a connection. And I kind of tried to schmooze my way into that spot. When the guy was, I can't remember his name, but when he was leaving, I was set up to be the next host.
Gotcha.
And if you listen to me talk, that's not what I should be doing. And so, like immediately, I love radio. I mean, if I talk about one thing that played the biggest impact on me for wanting to be a DJ, it was the radio, the Wizard, the Boogie in Saginaw. but also Culture Vibe when I came to MSU. But I did so bad. I had one show where I think I was the host solo after the dude left, and I couldn't get the equipment to work. I didn't get trained right. I was overconfident. It was a disaster. I was playing some Beatnuts track that said it was clean, but it had like cussing through the whole thing. I got the people calling me, and Benny Ben asks, I knew that, I knew I wasn't going to get it. I knew that I was done. And Benny Ben was like, he was like, oh, if they're not going to have you do it, that's messed up. And I was like, well, you should do it. Like, oh, he's like, I wasn't going to do it because they're like screwing you over or whatever. And I was like, no, you got to be kidding me. And so like, that's just he almost didn't do it out of some solidarity stuff that was like, would have been silly because I was so bad. I'm glad I don't have a tape of it, but I wish that there was a tape of it that I could share quietly with some friends.
That's a good one.
KC.
What was the question? I was listening to Ruckus.
So there was with the resistance to hip hop in town. How did you overcome it?
Persistence, really, because like hip hop, like with the venues, Respiration as my introduction, I was welcome there because that was it.
But it sounds like Respiration needs a documentary or something.
It does. I mean, really. I mean, because that was my beginning, and that's other little, well, not little, but other platforms like Mic Club, Sincere. It's kind of like, I won't say a spin-off of Respirations, but after Respirations ended, like it was a big thing where we, kind of celebrated when the last show, that was pretty big. So, as for the venues and the different places, it's just the reputation from Lansing going to East Lansing was kind of hard for us to kind of get out there. But even Lansing, when it comes to different events, and all it takes is one mess up, and then it kind of makes it hard. So I think us having a professionalism about some of the ways we approach it, even State of the Union. I mean, we can talk about places where, like, when you went to it, you got your $5 or your $10 worth, and I think Big Perm and Jay Smooth went ahead and had that popping up, probably along with Ward, had State of the Union popping out in East Lansing at what was that spot? Landshark. So that was around 2012 too, 2011, 2012. In Lansing, having shows. I've done shows at Avenue. So through time, we kind of progress. Even Gregory's, it allowed you to have hip hop every now and then.
There were some platforms.
Yeah.
There were some, and my bad.
Go ahead.
I don't want to forget stuff. So
Jump in, Ward. Jump in.
It's like there were other people who gave us opportunities to rap too. We didn't start facilitating our own shows and giving other people opportunities until we were probably almost sick of rapping when we started throwing the shows instead of being the ones on the card. So, but there were people around. It wasn't just EJ and Clock. Ill Speak gave people some opportunity. Salute to Ill Speak. He gave some people. So Ill Speak gave people hip hop opportunities. It was a few underground guys that were still throwing events in the city. Smaller events, bigger events, underground events. We used to do a lot of in-studio stuff. We had hip-hop stores on the south side. We had Strictly Hip Hop on the south side. Remember that?
Yeah.
Man, we had
Metro Music.
It was a lot of.
Shout out to Mark King.
Yep, shout out to Mark, man. It was good. So yeah, it was a lot of opportunities for us. We cannot say we were. We can't say we didn't have a shot.
Can I add one too?
Own shots.
I want the Temple Club.
Temple Club.
It's like Temple Club was one where
keep them going. Yeah, see,
where I think like the person that ran it, Jerome, I think he was committed to the culture, So when there were problems, he'd
Jerome.
fight through the problems because he was not just trying to be a parasite and take money off the culture. And I think that's what's missing from a lot of places is that the bars are interested in it if they make tons of money, but they're not committed to the culture. And so like I think where it's worked, there's been somebody behind the scenes who's willing to deal with some of the mess and fight through some of the issues to kind of like keep the culture alive or support the music. The Temple Club, I got to play with some crazy, like DJing for KRS-One, Grandmaster Kaz. I got to
the Wu came to the Temple Club, didn't they?
Man, I met Little Brother at the Temple Club.
Yeah.
that was a great show. That was a great show.
It was a who's who would be up in there. Like,
I got to DJ for X Clan. Like, how am I DJing for X Clan?
Exactly. See, like,
well, this brings us perfectly to this next question.
I'm so sorry. Can I interject?
Oh,
real quick?
of course you can.
And I know, and listen, I didn't really throw a lot of things, very small amounts of things, but you asked about like how did you get through that?
Mm-hmm.
Folks really bullied their way through, like they really did, and like pulled people with them. Right. So like, if Ruckus messed with you, and you showed up where Ruckus was at, then you were in there. You know what I'm saying?
facts.
And that's like how it went. And sometimes it would have to be like, not even have to, but sometimes it was a little bit of a coming in from a different avenue because, you know, like I said, Ruckus is a lover of music in general. He could be hired to play any type of event, to be very real. And that's how I met him. And not necessarily a hip hop thing, but then all of a sudden, you know, some more things started opening to us. You know what I mean? Because people didn't gatekeep and disseminated information. I mean, we talk about, oh my gosh, this is so nuts. Mark and the respiration guys, I don't know why I'm blanking right now, but they, of course, Sincere was cool with them, you know, kick some game to them, kick some game to James and Josh. They came back with Redefinition as well. You know, Mike Club was going on. Super, shout out to Sincere.
Salute,
For
man.
real.
Let's get
Like,
Sincere's
for real.
flowers, man.
For
Salute,
real.
my man.
Shout out to Sincere. But people were making things happen at house parties, the Loft, like, even though they were pretty resistant too. And there's a lot of folks who we've done a lot of stuff with them who are also, to this day, resistant, even though we've brought so much to their venues, which is very interesting to your point about not really respecting the culture, not really being down with the culture. But they want that money. You know, I remember when Ozay was throwing beat battles and stuff in shows in a random like gallery space that was next to Giorgio's.
Yeah.
I put on a couple of shows at the gallery that was in Old Town. It's not there anymore. R.I.P. Mr. Busby. Heather at a record lounge, she let me do a live podcast in her shop one summer. And I was bringing other folks in, but I was like, the hip hop folks got to be here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Perform live in her store. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
right, yeah.
You bullied your way
there.
through and
Yeah.
you pulled everybody else with you. And I love that.
Don't you think it's interesting how hip hop has stamped so much history here in the city? Like, just talking about the resistance to it from the venues, and you mentioned the Loft. What was the last show at the Loft before it closed down? Rakim
show.
Mm-hmm.
Like that type of stuff. And had they not allowed, you know, for you guys to have a place to perform, you know, a historical event like that will never happen. I mean, no matter how people remember the Loft, we'll always remember what the last show was, especially those of us who were there. That's monumental. Which brings me to my next question. How deep is your involvement in the culture here in Lansing?
I'll take that. Mine's is pretty deep. I represent Lansing. I represent the hip hop scene. Even with the newer cats now that's coming out, it's a lot of great talent coming out now. I feel like it's a progression, like from where we came from, just as far back as I can go and I can remember. We are like a stronghold. We are a strong unit, probably, if we can all combine. It's a lot of individual movements. Back in the day, it was like actual record labels, like back when we was selling CDs and people were touring. Now everything is so online. It's kind of like it's so many out there. Mm-hmm. For me to go ahead and keep tap of it, I had to go ahead and tap in with Ward, and he had a whole summer of what was it? Quarantine raps. I mean, he had people pull up on his whip, they whip their raps out, and that was it. So I feel real confident
I share some of those on my website too.
I feel confident that the scene is going to continue to grow, and I'm going to continue to support it however I can and use my platform to assist them and expand with either it be podcasts or if it's publishing more articles or if it's blog posts, whatever they need, they can holler at me, holler at Hood Illustrated, and we can get it popping.
Ward?
I would say my ties go pretty deep here. Thing is about our wave, like even us up here, we're not paper champions. You know what I'm saying? Like we have resumes of hands-on work that we put in the community. So you could probably Google a good portion of the things that we've done.
I have.
And I think the thing about our era is that we knew our history. You know what I'm saying? And we respected our big dogs. We respected the people that was here on the scene before us, who was outside before us, and we learned from them. Mm-hmm. And we kept it smoking. You know what I'm saying? This new wave, I don't really think they do much history anymore. I think they, with the new technology, with the internet and these new ways of being who you are, we have to get it out the mud. I don't think you really have to do that anymore. And I think that might separate our era from the newer generation in a sense. No shade to them, but I just feel like we were hands-on in the mud, and we did our history. We stuck to the code, and I think we all have a rap sheet that reflects that. But as far as my ties, I've been on all spectrums of the Lansing hip hop scene, even Michigan or Midwest, whatever you want to call it. I've been frontline as an MC. I've peaked here in Lansing as far as performance-wise. I've headlined Common Ground, which I think might be the largest platform here at the time. Mm-hmm. I've also, like I said, facilitated a radio show, gave other people opportunities to come up, be heard. I've gotten people opportunities to be Spotlight Artist of the Month on Power 96.5. So I was able to be in front of the scene, behind the scene. I've been able to monitor and see what's been going on in the area. I got good relationships with a good portion of the new artists. So being able to stay relevant, respected, and credible, I think I can check all those boxes. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't believe me, you can check my background.
YelloKake.
Yeah.
Have the skills that you've learned from being a part of this scene, are they transferable?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, man. I want to say damn near every job I've had, I've used them in, but also, just connecting with people, pulling together projects, pulling together anything that I wanted to do. I know that I can do it, in part because I saw people do stuff here, just out of like thin air and like a dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's definitely been transferable, and the range of people and types of artists and creatives that I've met in this scene, honestly, I work in corporate now. Like it prepared me to work in corporate. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you, because you have to be about your business, but you're all, but it's also a community, right? So that's how I treat it, because I'm not gonna be any different than myself anywhere I'm at. And that's what that taught me, you know what I mean? I was able to travel and was the same self wherever I went, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I do want to say, with the kids who are coming up now, mentors are available to you.
Yes, they are.
There's folks here who they're so giving.
There's a whole platform committed to it.
Right. Okay. There's a whole hip hop academy. Yeah. I want to see these kids be brave, man. Like throw some elbows to get in some places and do some things. Like try some shit. Try some things. And I want to support that. You know what I mean? And I always will. And I just thinking like, when I was still in DC, I came back for a summer and I met Mikey Austin. He was like 18. He asked me to get on a song. I was like, okay, nice dude. Man. And then he put the video out and he's like giving scholarships to kids. I was like, yo, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, it's here. It's here. And just like, I'm always going to be in touch with it. It's always a part of me. So, am I like hustling at it anymore? No, not necessarily. I'm still doing things, but I'm always like resource. Like I'm trying to hear what people are doing, like what the kids are doing. Always. I'm not even necessarily trying to give advice. I'm trying to give love. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep.
Where I'm at now is I just want to build community. So I started an artist meetup, artists, creatives, nonprofit, small business owners who are kind of arts adjacent or whatever. Quarterly, we're having our second one tomorrow. I would just be like, da-da-da, and all the information, but also, we're in a smaller space. But if you would like to come, I would love to have you. So I'm on IG at YelloKake, YelloKake. Hit me up and I'll send you an invite. But it's free. And the point is just to get folks together to meet and agree and to show love to those folks in the area. Every time, different people. So we show love to an artist. And when I say artist, I mean, not just musician. I'm talking about painters, dancers, whoever. You know what I mean? Creatives. You know what I mean? We highlight nonprofits in the area who are arts based. Show love, show people what they're doing, how you can get involved. But we also offer you, fun stuff to do. So we got DJ Renee Soul, who's DJing tomorrow. We got we got a couple of activities for you. We got a little game. We got an artist share. Like you come, you bring something you're working on, get some feedback from other creative people, meet some folks. Maybe you might find a producer. Maybe you might find a rapper. Maybe you might find somebody who could paint a album cover for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the
Resources.
point. Like, yes. And I'm inspired by all those folks who are doing similar things and bringing people together like this here. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the culture. I just want to invite everybody in.
Okay. Ruckus, why do you continue to be a part of the culture?
I think, well, I mean, I know. So one, I love DJing. I think it was it's one of the favorite parts of my life. And I don't know how I would not do it. I don't know how I would stop doing it. Maybe if I stopped being able to hear. But like, there's something there that's like addictive, and I really like not doing it as a career, not trying to think about how to do this to make money, not trying to like doing it because I love doing it, and I'm only going to do shows where I can do whatever I want, and I'm less interested in being a part of hip hop, but maybe something else, something beyond, bigger and beyond it. That's why I still do it. But also this thing about trying to use the things that the name that I have, or the ability to bring people together that I've built over years. I want to bring that to challenging this fucked up system that we live under that is fascist right now. Like I want to fight back against the system, and I want to use music to do that. And I mean, I want to use everything that I have to do that, because like it feels like we're in a critical moment, and that we need to engage it with all the tools we have. And so that's I guess that's where I would leave it.
And the tools we have is togetherness. Communication plus unity equals community. So to each of you, who is the person or persons that at this moment, in front of everyone watching, that deserves the flowers that you would give to them right now? Who has earned the flowers that you would give to them right now?
In the community, or
In the scene.
in the scene?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Cass, DJ Crazy Cass, Lakas, A-Real. I'm going through some of my fallen soldiers, some of the people that just not even on the music tip, just more on the personal brotherhood shit, that made a big impact on me just as a human being. So I would say Crazy Cass, Kaz, Perm, A-Real. Shout out to some of our artists that probably don't get the flowers they deserve, like Harvey Lee. Like, he is amazing talent, and one of the bright stars that came out of Lansing. Jay Powell, UNV. These are individuals that have made an impact within the whole industry that come directly from here. So I won't use all the names. I'm sure that Ward got a few more names, but shout out to Ward. Like, shout out to everybody on the panel. Also, Cut Nice. DJ Cut Nice. I know back, if we go back to the Respiration days, and even around that time frame, it was unique to get on 96.5, but it was a show called SNL, Saturday Night Live. It was him and Jay Scott. Yep, him and Jay Scott did that. Tony E, shout out to Tony E. Those are some of the people that, as I went through, and anytime I popped up, or if I needed an interview, or if I wanted to just kind of showcase who they were as a piece of content, we weren't even calling it content back then, but a piece of content that I can publish and just kind of draw people to my brand. Shout out to everybody that allowed me to do that within the community. But yeah, shout out to the Rocky too in Jackson. Jackson, Michigan is a big part of our scene here. They allowed us to go down there and have a safe space, well, a nice space, somewhat safe space, to go ahead and get our get our music on and throw parties and bring all the artists that are blowing up now, like the Payroll Giovanni, like Doughboy Cash Out, all them pretty much stomping grounds was Jackson, coming to Lansing and doing all that. So yeah, shout out to those. I'll let you go ahead do your thing.
Man, I want to show the utmost respect and love to the DJs really around here. Cause really, like, without y'all, it's like we need somebody to play our records. You know what I'm saying? Salute, man. Butcher, Cut Nice, Hollywood.
Right.
We're gonna keep saying Cass. I don't care if I gotta say it 10 more times tonight. We're gonna DJ Crazy Cass, Eclipse. I ain't trying to have no brain poops right now. But
Shout out to the chemists.
The Chemist, yeah, man. And then I want to name so many artists. Like, I want to just, we gotta run this back one day. We gotta come back. we got to come back and do one specifically. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something for like artists specifically. Cause right now, like I said, it's so much to unpack. I'm all over the place right now. Cause I can give you an hour on each topic, really. But I'm trying to keep it brief, and I don't want to forget stuff. But we don't have enough time to do this today. But a lot of names, man. And if I forgot your name, I apologize. But the real recognize the real. Y'all know what it is. When y'all see me, y'all know it's all love. And I just want to thank everybody that I've even encountered or came across in this space, or because man, it was a lot, yo. Like, it's a lot, man. But it's a feeling I can't describe. Like, I wouldn't regret. I don't regret anything that I've had in my path. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody. AOTA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love y'all. Y'all still active. Do all the good stuff for the community. You know what I mean? And
all the good stuff.
I wish AOTA could expand 10 times what it already is.
It will,
because we need this. So salute to AOTA, man. Y'all been supporting me forever. Vice versa. Love y'all. Yeah, our family. And it's just, I don't know. I'm starting to get emotional for real. But yeah, you can go ahead.
As everybody has been saying names, I'm like, yes. I remember the first time I was in the studio chopping up with Big Perm about Strange Fruit and just talking about that song.
Big P, man.
Yeah. Shout out to him. And also, Ozay, because AOTA is just amazing. But not just that. So because I know them pretty well, between Ozay and then Joshua Smith, James Garden, even though, we didn't have nothing while we were doing this thing, you know what I mean? We're always intentionally mentoring, like always, and have never stopped. Never stopped. Yeah. And that's just so admirable. As somebody of this culture that is, and trying to keep it going, but also just like as a community member, as a man, like that's everything. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I also, there haven't been a lot of women who really got the shine here. And I wish I knew more, but the ones that came to mind were Shayla Brock. Also, who's an incredible singer, also produces all her own stuff. Melissa Carter is incredible.
Yeah, salute to her.
Shout out to Matt Orick, who made a documentary about Lansing hip hop years ago. Yeah, it's a blessing. So Rena Risper also.
Yeah, salute.
Rena Risper,
Yep, salute to Rena.
for always writing about us, you know, and inviting us to write. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Ruckus.
So I got a giant list.
Yeah.
I'll try to go through them quick because I know we're getting late. But first, I want to thank Kurt and Ken Walrath and Scott and Tony Swartz. These were two guys. The first two moved to my little shitty town from Flint when I was real little, and they exposed me to hip hop as it was starting. And so like that changed the trajectory of my entire life. Probably would not have. I mean, hip hop. I would have found hip hop at some point, but it wouldn't have been the same as being able to hear the songs when they were coming out, hear the stories from these kids who were older than me, going to the shows in Flint, and they were b-boys. They had a crew that was like battling all the time, and that like, so I was exposed not just to what was on the radio, but like the whole culture, and that changed my life. My brother Chris, I'm gonna get emotional too. I'm gonna try to resist, but almost every time I talk in a forum like this, I cry. So that's just how it goes.
It's all good.
My brother Chris, who also was a DJ, he got turntables before me, and I wouldn't have. Like he reminded me that we could do it. Like you could just do it. Like I wanted it for a long time, but I just didn't think it was like. Just kind of like that, just mental block of thinking like maybe that's what somebody else does. And him just getting turntables, that was like, no, I can do it. I can do it now. And like I still DJ with him a couple times a year, and it's like one of the best days of the year every time. A lot of people we've already talked about: Kaz, Mark King. I want to bring up DJ Lex Loco. He was another early DJ guy that was like inspirational to me. The B-Boys from my early days, Chan Boogie, Nolan, Noble One, and Richard, they were inspirational to me. The people that worked at record stores, Jamie, who did Code of the Cuts. There's an early rapper named Rakim who was around MSU, who I don't know what happened to him. I know he got a gun charge or something, and then he just kind of disappeared. This was along with that guy June, the DJ that kind of like put me on. Also, there was a guy Eduardo Scissorhands. Again, I don't know where, but that whole scene around him, they had a cable access show. If we're just trying to put a bunch of stuff out there that we can do more research on to build the history, that cable access show is part of that history we got to get, because it was beginning technology, and it was also insane. It was a wild show. Sorry.
How wild was it?
And then just like the Black Pack crew, I was peripherally involved in that to some degree, but that whole when YelloKake's talking about coming to the Post,
Yeah.
and I think that's where we all met.
Where I met you, yeah.
And that was we didn't talk about that, and that's not necessarily hip hop time either. But that was a big
But you were
part
dropping
for my
songs that were making people pissed off in the joint, and they were like my favorite songs. So I was like, I gotta know him. Yeah.
Jerome at Temple Club, John Beltran at 621.
yeah.
That's a
Oh
whole
my
nother
gosh.
range of another venue where we did a bunch of good music, some hip hop, but lots of classic R&B, soul, all mixed together, but with DJs doing it well. My homie SPOT, who's got stuff coming out now that I think that he's a rapper that I'm excited about. And then Mikey Austin too. And of course,
Mikey.
Ozay Moore for bringing all this stuff together and just making great things happen ever since you came here. We're so, I know it ain't just you, but we're so lucky that you came here and you invested in this place, and just have continued to make it a better place to be. Also, Dominic Cochran at the Public Media Center. Didn't see him tonight, but he's been behind the scenes doing cool stuff for also probably about 30 years. Some of the first shows DJ'd with Benny Ben were with him too. So that's a lot. Long list, but I wanted to make sure all those people got mentioned.
Do we got time for our audience question?
We take one or two. We got a couple good ones. I'm sure we got a couple.
Would anyone like to ask a question of the panel?
Pressure.
Anyone in the house?
Don't pressure me. It's a good one.
do have one. I do have one more. If you guys don't have one, okay, we can do one more. One more.
The boss says one more.
One more.
Last round.
One more. Right now, each one of you are Urban Magic Johnson. You running the court of hip hop on a fast break. Who is the young hooper you passing it to dunk it?
The young hooper, right now.
And by hooper, I mean young MC, young artist, DJ, graph artist, breaker. Who is the young person representing the culture on this break that you're going to pass it to?
Okay. We ain't got much time. One of my favorite young artists out here is Tug. That's one of my favorite artists. I will put him on the court.
Okay. Ward?
Yeah. On a fast break. I'll probably roll with Tug. 3200 Trey right now is doing his thing. Stay True Red making some noise. Salute to him. Actually a good portion of North Lansing is doing pretty good right now. They're pretty active. So salute to North Lansing, man. These are just some of the people that I'm just seeing outside. You know what I mean? There's some females that are active as well. Like, the scene is kind of on fire right now in Lansing, really. Like, I'm good to see it going right now. So it's a couple ways to pass.
Okay.
Right now, it's a few options right now. So
okay,
if we had more time, I'd be able to elaborate in detail a little bit more. But I don't want to leave nobody out or you know.
So like you got some bench players too. Somebody.
I'm missing a few starters right now. But I'm saying like there's quite a few that's active right now that I would tip my hat to. So salute to the whole Lansing scene right now. Like I'm proud of the energy and the effort that they're putting into the culture right now.
And like photography.
And salute to the people, the videographers. You know what I mean, and the photographers, and the people that are making these visuals and these things happen for these artists too. So salute to them, for making y'all look good as well.
Okay, Yellow.
I want to get plugged in with the ladies who are rapping here because I really don't know. But
I got you. There's a few of them.
And what just keeps coming back to my mind. And I know she's not rapping. She locks in with rappers here and there. But I already said her name. Melissa Carter is an incredible writer, an incredible singer, a very good producer. And I think people really who don't know her name really need to know her name. She's very good.
She's good.
Okay.
She's cold. She's like that. And I also, to the point about the videographers, I know a film professor at MSU who will let you sit on his class. So I'm just saying, the resources are here. That's all I'm saying.
That's lit.
I'd say Mikey Austin.
Yeah.
I mean, he's maybe not.
Yeah.
He still counts as
Mikey
young,
lit too.
I think he's kind of he ain't really touching anything that's like not working. Like he's just doing tons of good stuff. Great dude.
Sure.
That's.
I'm sorry, Desco.
Desco, my
Desco's
boy.
like
I call him
that,
Marcos. That's my man. Marcos.
Like that.
Me and Marcos got a lot of stories too, man. That's why I'll be like, man, I'll come back. Can I come back next week? I got some stories, man.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to thank each of you for everything you shared today, especially the emotional stuff.
Right,
because that
let's
matters.
thank Joe real. Can we clap for Joe? You always want people to clap for somebody else. Let's clap for you real quick.
Why you ain't got the belt up here, bro? I mean, that's your. That's what.
That, man.
Yeah, we up here winning. Let's go. What are you again? The world
Word heavyweight champion.
Word heavyweight champion.
You know, it's always better to share it for me. So I don't. It feels weird to receive it, but it feels better to give it away. And I appreciate what all of you have done and what all of you have shared here today.
Thank you, man.
Sure.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, everybody here live. And now, to close us out, the person who really needs some flowers up here.
I ain't got much more to say, but then, the capstone is the foundation. And each one of these individuals has not only laid multiple bricks on that foundation for folks to build on, but they are bricks in and of themselves. So one more time for our panelists, y'all. Please give it up out there in listening land. Hey, it's CapStone Live. Tune in. We'll bring it back. I know we'll be back next year for Lansing Hip Hop Day, but we might bring it back sooner than that. I know Ward got a lot of stories. We got to figure out. But right now, it's documented on video. It's documented in Hood Illustrated. A lot of folks you could do your research on and learn more about the rich history here in the capital city. So until next time, peace. Love y'all. Bill 517, and we out.